Salt Lake's #1 hit music station.
97.1 ZHT.
And I'm thinking our guest, our friend of the show, Lyn Christian, needs like an opener, and this seems like it's kind of appropriate here. She can't hear it. She's not wearing her headphones this morning. Here, put your headphones on. This is your. Here, I'll start from the beginning. Here, hold on. Here we go. Here's your opener. You like it?
She's jamming.
Do you know who that is or no? You have no idea? It's Guns N' Roses. Welcome to the jungle.
We're on the air, Lyn.
We're on the air. On the air.
Guns N' Roses.
So from SoulSalt, Lyn is a master certified life and business coach. We've had her on before, and we were just talking about it a little bit ago. Like she's truly amazing. And what I love about Lyn, so I had a meeting with Lyn, an appointment probably 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Right.
And it was the second time, and I know Jess has gone to see and talk to Lyn a couple of times as well. What I love about you, and I respect this so much. So if my appointment is at 11, I show up and I get there, and I'm in there at 11. And then if it's, from 11 to 11:30, at 11:30, I'm out the door. I know, and that's such an important thing.
True.
As far as, people, your time is important. Others, and we're in a world of things kind of encroaching or somebody because they can't either. You're like, okay, time is up. But the way you don't even say it like that. All of a sudden, it's just,
just done.
It's done.
Yeah.
And it's such I can't tell you how much I appreciate just that about
awesome.
Well, you're welcome. It's an acquired skill. It did not come naturally.
Was it something that you had to work hard at?
Yes.
Yeah.
As a kid, I know I would have been diagnosed ADD, probably ADHD, because I was climbing door jams.
Oh, dang.
And my mom was sending me off to my dad to go to work with him because she couldn't handle me in the house. So... yes, it's an acquired thing, and the precision, I feel, honors the work that we do, and I feel like it also honors the fact that the person who's coming in can come in, we get focused, we go deep, we go wide wherever we go, and then there's a wrap, because the real work happens in your own life.
True.
So we're strategizing, and we don't need to strategize all day, but we do need to leave with clarity and then the capacity to have greater, stronger action based on what we covered in that clear moment.
And yeah, she's good at it.
She really is.
Yeah.
And I came in there. I'm just going to tell you kind of what, in a nutshell, of what I told her. So I kind of came in with, this is what I want to talk about. So within that 30 minutes, I left with something tangible. She actually had some notes and so like a little chart that I could actually go from or go off of.
Yeah.
But here, so here was my thing. I'm like, okay, in my professional life, everything with the show, and it looks like, and I call it organized chaos over here on this side of the, but it is. I know where everything is, and I've got my certain stacks, and that's the way how I prep for the show the night before, and kind of throughout the day. But here is where my problem is. So professionally, I've got everything, and I get things done. But personally, so and I use the example of the office at the house.
Oh.
It's a wreck. And I said, so I was trying to tell Lyn, I don't know how to get this done. And I don't know what it is. I get in my head and I start and it's been years now since this thing. And I went through and I kind of cleaned out some of the clutter a bit ago, but it's still a mess. She basically said, okay, from what you do, and can you kind of give it a nutshell what you told me in the meeting without, taking too long, because we don't have a lot of time for that.
Yeah, well, your clutter and your chaos is just a mirror of your neural networks. So we're putting neuroscience behind this. My job is to be a neuro innovator with you to figure out how do we get space in your head so you can see it. Because what's happening for you is you're a visionary. You have foresight. You can see a lot of things. And then those things start to become tangible and cluttered. So what we could see is you need space, and you need to be able to feel like that environment is now going to be conducive for you to be focused. Because without space, it's very important in our head, on our desk, in our office, we can't have laser focus. So that's sort of where we went. And we kind of did a little simulation while you were in there so you could see ways to sort through, because you're also a visual thinker.
Right.
So we use visual thinking to help you get everything out of your head and then start to actually look at relevant, not relevant, later, today, those sorts of things.
And it was amazing. So I went home and I started to kind of make, I'm chipping away at this office and getting things done on a daily basis with that.
That's exciting, man.
It really is. And I left, and that's kind of, we've, met a couple of times and different things. And, and you have this feeling of like, oh my gosh, because you kind of go in there, and, especially me, I'm like a head case.
Cluttered.
Yeah, exactly. and I just think, I'm like, there's no way she's going to be able to, because I'm a mess.
Yeah.
And you come out of there within 30 minutes or whatever the time frame is.
Yeah.
Is that kind of what you're like in 30 minutes? That's when you talk to people, or
Well, some people that if I've been working for a long time, we can do 15-minute sessions.
Wow.
I had
Wow.
one this morning from one of my Manhattan clients on the East Coast. Sometimes it's an hour, depending upon what we're working on. So if we're actually doing an innovation session or we're revamping something really big, we could do an hour and a half. But typically, when we're chipping away at something, if you're going to do less of the stuff that doesn't work and more of the stuff that does, we don't need to pile a lot of things on that list. If we're going to make shifts and changes that actually feed you and help you, then we need to find the incremental steps to take. And each person's different because we all have different ways that our neural networks have combined. And so finding a way, that's why I say working on neuroinnovation. I've been mentored and immersed in a program this last year with Judith E. Glaser, who wrote Conversational Intelligence. She's one of the leading, in the world, one of the leading neuro innovators and the leader of We-Centric Leadership, the author of Conversational Intelligence. And where I've gone with that is, what's the conversation in your head?
Mm-hmm.
And how do we look at it in a way where you can have increased focus, increased strength, and stay in your integrity?
I love it. It's amazing. It's like living in a big house, and you spend 30 minutes with Lyn, and it's like you unlocked a door that you've been like checking the handle the whole time, and you unlock it to, oh my gosh, the light bulb, and the light's on, and you're like, oh, and it just clicks. Right. You're an amazing woman. You really are.
Well, thank you.
And let's speak to real quick before we let you go to because there's a lot of people that can relate to the chaos, and I guess that first hour in the day you say is the most important because that kind of sets the tone for the rest of the day. Especially, it's very relatable. People are just like, my life is chaotic,
right?
Feeling like I can't get anything done.
Right. So the first thing to do is before you get out of bed, just be grateful. Create space right then and say no before the world gets me. Before I turn on any technology, before my feet hit the ground, I will stop and say, thank you for this, thank you for that. You can say it in your mind, you can say it in your heart, you can write it in a journal. But here's the point. We get a little shot of cortisol that wakes us up. And then we all run on that cortisol, which is going to run us out. It's in the back of the brain. It's a stress hormone.
Right.
And so if we can shift that to a neurochemical that's more like oxytocin or serotonin, we have peace, and that actually sets the tone for the rest of our neurochemistry to function throughout the day. So that's one little tiny thing people can do.
So you're a life coach and a business coach. What do you, is it kind of, where is it, what do you fall into more of as far as speaking to people? More the life coach or business?
Well, because I work with people like you guys. Very inventive, they're empathic, they're innovative, very creative. They come in and we can't dissect what they do in their work from who they are as a person. They don't just slide a card and then turn into another person. They show up with a lot of who they really are, being big and bold at work. So that's who I work with. So that required that I go back and get a lot of certifications. And so, some people laugh when I say, hey, a life coach. And I go, well, I have certifications in executive coaching. I have a master certification from the International Coach Federation. I just finished neuroscience with conversational intelligence and then also MBIT, multiple brain integration down in Australia, finished with Judith. I'm constantly gleaning these things that help bring life and work into a harmonious kind of pattern within my clients. So that is a combination of how do I focus at home, how do I focus at work.
She's good, and I'm not a huge reader. Like I'm not a book person.
Right.
She got me to pick up a book that has, and I'm still working my way through it, but it has helped me so much.
What's the book? Do you know?
It's The Survival Guide for the Empath.
Okay.
I didn't realize, I know I'm a big feeler, and I love people and have a big heart for people, but just the empath and how it was literally not knowing how to deal with that, how I was so drained, and it was really taking a toll on me as a person. Like within probably 10 minutes, the tears were rolling with her because she could see
picked
into
up on
me.
that, right?
Yeah.
So let's give your audience a little sample of that. If they've ever been labeled as oversensitive or overly shy or introverted, if you frequently get overwhelmed and anxious, and especially in crowds, if arguments and yelling make you sort of ill, sick to your stomach.
Oh my gosh, it's like you're talking to me. Like, what?
And if there's something about you that you don't feel like you fit in,
Yeah.
then you have an element of empathy. Empathically, you're picking up on stuff. We have neural networks in our heart and our gut that are complex enough to be called functional brains. So when you came in, Jess, that's where the neuroinnovation happens. I start watching, it's one of my gifts, watching for patterns. We could tell that maybe you were an empath when we gave you this quick quiz from Judith Orloff, who wrote the book. You were off the chart. So now we know that it's very hard to focus when your environment and other people are like screaming at you, not with their mouths, but the environment and people scream at you because you can read. Your heart neurons and your gut neurons are picking up on frequencies. And Heart Math Institute's told us if we get in within 10 feet of somebody else, we start feeling the rhythm of their heart. We have this sort of cybernetic loop. And you can get looped into so many things that it's hard for you to discern what's yours and what's not yours. And if you don't know the difference and can put up boundaries, how are you going to focus on your priorities?
True.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's so awesome.
5-day challenge. Are we doing this right now? So it's a free 5-day challenge?
Yeah, so we're doing a free 5-day challenge for people who are listening. They can go to SoulSalt, SoulSalt.com, find the banner, sign up for it.
And I think we've got that under on the Frankie and Jess page.
We do.
So if it's elite, so go to 971zhd.com and then it'll take you right to Lyn's page.
Yeah, so within 1 minute, again, we're going to be precise. Within 1 to 2 minutes in these 5 days, you're going to have one little thing that helps you clear out space in your mind, in your environment, so that you can get a sense of what it's like to be able to have more focus. Just 5 days of just tiny incremental pieces. Those people, and then we have a bunch of other people who are signing up for this already, but those people who come through the 5-day can then sign up and go through 21 days with me so they can really shift their capacity to focus. And that begins in July 30th. So people that are listening to your show, you can come in for free for the 5-day. It gives you a sample. You can say, hey, that's for me or not. Regardless, anybody that's listening to you guys, we have a coupon code called iHeart, and you can register for our 21-day Be Focused Fix, which is come in, we're going to play with some things. I'm going to work with you each day for 21 days. Oh, wow. One little bite-sized chunk of something to do so you can start to create your own focus management system. Because there's not a planner out there that fits everybody.
True.
There's not a planner that is, time management has been a big thing, but really what we find at SoulSalt is that focus management makes time management a moot point. So if you learn how to focus your unique way that you see life, then you can create some kind of system or find one that fits you, and that is a way to be better at life and more productive, but more importantly, you become a stronger human being, and you like that feeling.
And that's your gift. Yeah. Your gift is she can tap into that within minutes.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about you is like I walk away because I'm thinking, there's no way you're going to be able to, give me, because I just feel like I'm a mess, a mess.
We're all beautiful messes, man.
Yeah.
For real. That's a great way to put it.
I love it. Lyn, it's a pleasure to see you.
My pleasure. Thank you, guys.
SoulSalt, and if you want to find out more information, again, just go to the Frankie and Jess page at 971zhd.com.
Salt Lake's #1 hit music station.
97.1 ZH.